What is up, YouTube? How you doing? Welcome. We're live right now, and this is Unhinged. We're watching. Let me give you the big camera. We're watching Trump's speech from Mar-A-Lago that he gave like 4 hours ago, and we've been watching it for a while. And he just said some of the most unhinged shit I've ever heard regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. Honestly, you just gotta watch it with me and us. We're live. Next time, make sure you're here for the live stream. Make sure before we start, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and donate $7,000 to the channel. Holy shit! All right, here we go.
Very good question. Thank you. Yes.
We're hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to sign any kind of a peace deal. Is that something that the U.S. would ever support?
We're hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to get a peace deal. Essentially, think about that. What does that mean? That fucking means Russia will only give peace to the Ukrainians if Zelensky's no longer the leader. Why is that? Because Zelensky ain't no bitch. You know what Zelensky fucking said yesterday? He said it's clear that the strongest member of NATO is Russia. Attaboy, hitting them with shots. And then he said because they didn't get a fucking seat at the meeting, if you know anything about this, I just made a fucking video about this. The U.S. and Russia had a fucking meeting regarding peace in Ukraine, and they didn't even give a goddamn Ukrainian a seat. Not one fucking politician from Ukraine got a goddamn seat. Not one official, nobody, right? And he's asked, hey, the fuck, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this.
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, or essentially martial law in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Where the leader
Yeah, Donald, yeah, because Russia's fucking invading them. And I just said this in the chat earlier. If there's ever a time where it's acceptable for you to not have an election cycle, like maintain the way that it was, it's when you're being invaded by another nation, especially one that is a nuclear-powered nation the size of Russia. Come on, guy.
I mean, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating.
He's talking about Zelensky. He's down to 4% approval. This guy's fucking Homelander. What do you mean I'm down 4 points? 4 points among evangelicals. That's not good. We're going to need to whip out Firecracker and show her tits. Maybe that will help.
Blown to smithereens. You got most of the cities are laying on their sides. The buildings are collapsed. It looks like a massive demolition site. The whole, I mean, so many of the cities. I mean, they haven't done it in Kiev because I guess they don't want to shoot too many rockets in there. They've done it 20%, but they haven't done it 100%. If they wanted to do it 100%, it would probably happen very quickly. But you have cities that are absolutely decimated. And
you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck, and you're making that abundantly clear. You're saying that Ukraine doesn't get any seat at the table. Russia may force Zelensky out of his position in order to get peace. We're not going to get anything from the Russians. Ukraine's not going to return to its pre-2014 borders. Ukraine's not going to join NATO. And the thing is, guys, that I want to talk about that I've made clear is I ain't no fucking Ukraine dick rider, okay? I wish the Ukrainians the best. I feel for them, and I understand that they are holding the line against the fucking Russian horde, okay? But this isn't about Ukraine. This is about sending a message that Vladimir Putin is allowed to just invade a neighboring country, slaughter its people, and then no repercussions. Brother, you gotta treat this motherfucker like the dog he is. If a dog bites like that, if a dog bites someone till they bleed, you gotta fucking punish that dog. You can't just let the dog bite, because you know what it's gonna do? You know what it's gonna do? Bite again. What do you think happened when Hitler waltzed into Poland and Neville Chamberlain said, now wait a minute, we don't need to respond because if, you know, he said, I'm not going any further than Poland. I took Poland and that's all I wanted. And then guess what happened? He kept on going. I mean, Jesus Christ, I ain't no fucking genius. I don't feel like you need to be a fucking genius to tell this shit.
You know, when they want a seat at the table, you could say the people have to, wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, like, you know, it's been a long time since we've had an election. That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also.
So it's not
Ukraine
Russia.
is being just
So you're saying Russia's not the one forcing Ukraine. That's not a Russia thing. It's a me thing. It's me. Oh, and other nations too. Name them. But you are the one who's forcing Zelensky to have a new election before there'll be any peace, motherfucker. Who the fuck are you? You have used our tax dollars, like more than 200 billion tax dollars sent over to Ukraine to fight against the Russians, and now no one's getting nothing from it except Putin. Except Putin. 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 Oh, I'll give you all of Ukraine, Putin. Give me a kiss.
just wiped out. Look at what's happening to the cities. There are cities, there's not even a building standing. It's a massive, you talk about Gaza. I mean, it's literally, these cities look like Gaza. Actually, many have, percentage-wise, more buildings knocked down than in Gaza. So, people are tired of it. People want to see something happen. And, the other thing that it's been bothering me for a long time, because I solved the problem with NATO. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars into the funds of NATO when I said you got to pay, because the United States was paying for European countries, and then they take advantage of us on trade. But I've seen it. Look, they have to pay. They have to find out, where is the money going to? We have, I believe President Zelensky said last week that he doesn't know where half of the money is that we gave him. Well, we gave them, I believe, $350 billion, but let's say it's something less than that, but it's a lot. And we have to equalize with Europe, because Europe is given a very much smaller percentage than that. I think Europe...
All of the European nations are fucking drastically smaller than us, and their GDP is so much smaller. Me and my brother had a crash-out fight over this in one of the recent episodes of Valenti VOD, but yes, the United States gave way more money to defend Ukraine. But percentage-wise, it was 0.6% of our GDP. Just above half of 1% of our GDP went to Ukraine. Okay? These other, Sweden, I think, or Denmark, put in 2% of their GDP. 2%. They're willing, and they don't make a lot. That's like a poor guy giving 20 and you giving 5. Or no, that's like a poor guy giving a 20, like a homeless guy giving a 20 to charity, and Elon Musk giving $100,000. Is the $100,000 way fucking more than the 20? Of course it is. But he's Elon Musk, and he can afford it. He can afford it. My God.
Has given $100 billion, and we've given, let's say, 300 plus, and it's more important for them than it is for us. We have an ocean in between, and they don't. But where is all the money that's been given? Where is it going? And I've never seen an accounting of it. We give hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't see any accounting. So I want to see peace. Look, you know why I want? Because I don't want all these people killed anymore. I'm looking at people that are being killed, and they're Russian and Ukrainian people, but they're people. Doesn't matter where they're from on the whole planet. And I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
You should have never started it?
Deal for...
Holy shit! What do you mean? What the fuck? How the fuck did Ukraine start their own invasion? Dude, I'm actually gonna crash the fuck out. I'm gonna crash out. Holy shit! Let's replay that. Let's replay that.
And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down.
What domes are you talking about?
Not to do it that way. And
what is he talking about domes? What the fuck is is he talking about? Domes. What is he talking about? Domes. I gotta know what the fuck he keeps talking about. Ukrainian domes? Okay, is he talking about churches? He's talking about churches, bro. He's talking about churches. Just say church. Just say church. It's a church. It's a church with a dome on it. I'm crashing out right now, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's talking about the force field? What the fuck are you talking about, chat? He's talking about a force field? What do you think this is, Luke Skywalker?
He doesn't have a clue. What he was so bad for this. He was so bad, so pathetic, so sad. But with all of that being said, look, it is what it is. When I left, there was no chance that this could have happened, but it happened because we had incompetent leadership at many different levels. But when you see what's taken place in Ukraine with millions of people killed, including the soldiers, millions of people killed, a big percentage of their cities knocked down to the ground. I don't know how anybody even lives there. You know, when they say they took a poll and Zelensky's at 4%.
Is it true that millions of Ukrainians have died? I mean, he lies so often. How many... So no? So yeah, no, so he's just lying. So he's just lying? Because what the fuck? Millions is implying at least 2. Can we agree there that millions implies at least 2 million people? Right? It has to. So what the fuck are you talking about? It is known.
And who's living there? You know, I mean, it's hard to believe that people live there. Their cities are being knocked down, and this is something that would have never happened. And, by the way, for 4 years, it didn't happen. It was never going to happen. Go ahead.
Question. How would you counter the perception, because Russia's pushing for this, obviously, they don't really hold true elections, that would be a capitulation of some sort. How would you guard against potential...
I kind of love this reporter. Can we just play back? Yo, that's a brave-ass reporter, bro, talking shit on Putin in the world stage like this.
That would have never happened.
Listen to this chick.
By the way, for 4 years, it didn't happen. It was never going to happen. Go ahead.
Follow-up question. How would you counter the perception, because Russia's pushing for this, obviously, they don't really hold true elections.
Atta girl. I don't know who that reporter is, but that's a brave woman.
That would be a capitulation of some sort. How would you guard against potentially Russia installing a puppet government? And then finally, how would that new election have an impact on getting Zelensky to sign the rare earth minerals deal?
Look, you have leadership, and I like him personally. It's fine. But I don't care about personally. I care about getting the job done. You have leadership now that's allowed a war to go on that should have never even happened.
Dude, even what do you mean allowed a war to go on? They've been fucking fighting back to the point where Ukraine is barely hanging on. There's nobody left to fight. What do you mean allowed it? Allowing it would be to not fight. They fucking... And of all people, I feel like Americans should be able to relate to, like, you know, defending your land. Like, we always talk about that shit, you know, even though we never really had to defend our land. I mean, we got Pearl Harbor, but other than that, like, what do you want? The War of 1812? But I don't know. I always thought that the Americans would have stood by the idea of holding back the Russian horde. That is what I thought. Oh, jeez. All right. Back to it.
United States. Look, we had a president who was grossly incompetent. He had no idea what he was doing. He said some very stupid things, like going in for portions and all of the things. He made a lot of bad statements, but he's grossly incompetent. And
bad
I think
statements?
everyone...
Bad statements, Trump? They're eating the dogs! You fucking rat.
Knew that. This is something that should have never happened, would have never happened. And I used to discuss it with Putin. President Putin and I would talk about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, I will tell you that. But there was never a chance of him going in. And I told him, you better not go in. Don't go in. Don't go in.
Bullshit.
And he understood that.
You know what you fucking said to him? I believe you said don't go in. But I also believe you said, until I'm not the president, don't go in until I'm not there. If I lose, go in. Do it during Biden's, and then we'll negotiate peace at the end. You and I will be buddy-buddy. We can establish a tight-knit relationship between the United States and Russia, maybe even creep over to China, and we can create a new world order to overpower the European Union. With our secret spy, the Alternative an Deutschland. I'm telling you.
Understood it fully. But I'm only interested, I want to see if I can save maybe millions of lives. This could even end up in a World War III. I mean, to be honest with you, you've been hearing now Europe is saying, well, I think we're going to go in and we're going to go. All of a sudden, you're going to end up in World War III over something that should have never happened. And, you know, it's a very sad situation. Yeah, please.
In a court filing, the White House said that Elon Musk is not a DOGE employee and has no authority to make decisions. Can you clarify for us today?
Well, Elon Musk,
role is there?
Elon is, to me, a patriot. So, you know, you could call him an employee, you could call him a consultant, you could call him whatever you want. But he's a patriot. I mean, look at the kind of things. I just said, just write it down, just in case that question got asked, right? And
you brought notes on how much you love
it took
Elon?
so long, actually. But you know what? Ukraine's a bigger deal because people are dying by the thousands a week, thousands. But look at this, from 90 to 99, Social Security, 6,054,000 people.
None of this is true.
Well, that's okay. Maybe that's possible. You know, 90 to 90.
Dude, none of this shit is true.
Possible.
There's
It's
been no evidence of this other than Doge's fucking tweets, bro.
109, 4,734,000.
Elon is the Doge handle has tweeted this shit
that
out.
Means over 100 years old. They're 4 million people. I don't know too many. I know people that are doing great in their 90s, but not too many people over 100. But over 120, from 120 years old, people that are 120 years old up to 129, 3,472,000 people. Wow. You know that can't possibly be because the record is like, I think it's one person, a woman, lived to 127, but they have 3,472. Okay, but now we're going really in. People from 130 years old to 139-year-old, 3,936,000.
Donald.
Wow.
Donald.
I wonder if people are getting paid with
Donald,
this.
it's not
are these checks,
true.
and that's what we're checking right now.
Donald.
People from 140 years old to 149 years old.
Donald.
3,542,000. 140 years old and beyond. Now,
oh my
now
God.
we're really going because we're looking to break the record by 25 years. People from 150 years old to 159 years old. 1,345,000. These are in the. By the way, these are in the computer files. This is what they do well. They're super. I asked Elon, who are these Doge people?
They're
He said they're super brilliant computer people, and
they're fucking 20-year-old incel groypers. One of them tweeted out, "Bring back Indian hate." Your vice president's wife is Indian.
Of the country. It's simple. Wait a minute. People from 160 years old to 169 years, 121,000. So 160-year-old people. 170 to 179,000, 6,087. But now, let's go into the real numbers. From 200 to 209 years old, 879 people.
This is
From
such
210
bullshit.
years old, I haven't met any of them. And if I did, I would bless them. I would worship the ground they walk on. 210 to 219 years, 866.
Unreal.
From 220 years old to 229 years old, 1,039.
Dude, do people actually believe this shit? Is there anyone in the chat who believes this shit simply because the Doge handle tweeted out that they found it? Like, do people believe this shit? I don't believe this shit for a second. And also, if you say you discovered a unicorn, you gotta give me proof of that unicorn. Till then, I'm gonna tell you, bullshit, no you fucking didn't. And if your proof is Donald Trump reading off of a fucking piece of paper, I don't know how to explain to you that that does not count as evidence. I don't believe this shit for a second. I would believe it if you could provide me with fucking evidence, which you refuse to do. Same thing with Doge. They're like, oh, we're public with everything we do. We just tweet it out on the Doge handle. That's not proof!
And then you have two people from 240 years old to 249 years old, one person. And there's one person that's 360 years old.
You know what?
That's
What? Dude. Oh, God! This would make such a good SNL skit if he just went, well, we've got vampires, ladies and gentlemen. All I can tell from this is that clearly there are fucking vampires taking advantage of our systems. And we need to get our tax dollars back from the vampires, which is why I've called Wesley Snipes. We're getting Blade back in action. We're taking down the vampires. I've got so much gold and silver, I'm melting some down, making some bullets, and we're going to take down the vampire horde. I think the one man at the top, 350-year-old, must be Nosferatu, played by Skarsgård. And we're going to take him down. Oh, God. And we're going to take him down.
It's just that. And then, where's the money being spent, right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a consultant on the environment. It's called Environmental, Social, and Governance Investments.
All right, enough of this. Fuck this, because also it's 9 o'clock, so I think Trump's new interview with Elon Musk just launched. His little interview with, what's his fucking name, Sean Hannity. So, yeah, listen, guys, thank you for watching the stream. We're not ending the stream. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching the video. This is insane. We're going to make the next one now. Tune into the stream if you're just checking this out. But, yeah, anyway, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, ring the notification bell, and donate $7,000 to the channel. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.